Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. Gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs fragrances this holiday season. From the iconic Daisy and Perfect to the all-new Daisy Wild, Marc Jacobs perfume gift sets include everything she needs to feel special. From her favorite fragrance, plus the matching travel spray. Holiday gifts don't get much more perfect than this. So if you're looking for a gift inspiration these holidays, gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs.
EVO. This series contains adult language and depictions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. In the vast tapestry of American folklore, few threads are as intricately woven as the legend of the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger. To understand this tale, we must first journey back through the annals of time to the very roots of the Thanksgiving tradition itself. Long before the first European settlers set foot on the shores of what would become the United States, the indigenous peoples of the land held harvest festivals, giving thanks for the bounty of the earth. The Wampanoag, who would later encounter the Pilgrims at Plymouth, had been celebrating such gatherings for centuries. It was in the autumn of 1621 that the Pilgrims, having survived their first year in the New World, barely, decided to hold a celebration of Thanksgiving. Governor William Bradford sent 4 men on a hunting mission to prepare for the feast. The Wampanoag, led by Massasoit, joined the celebration, which lasted for 3 days. This event, while not the first Thanksgiving to be held in the Americas, would become the seed from which the modern American Thanksgiving would grow. As the young nation expanded westward, the tradition of Thanksgiving spread with it. Each family, each community adapted the celebration to fit their circumstances. In the log cabins of Kentucky, on the windswept prairies of Kansas, in the bustling cities of the East Coast, Americans gather to give thanks. It was President Lincoln in 1863, in the midst of the Civil War, who proclaimed a national Thanksgiving Day to be held each November. This proclamation, born in a time of national strife, solidified Thanksgiving's place in the American calendar and psyche. As the 19th century gave way to the 20th, Thanksgiving became increasingly commercialized. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, first held in 1924, brought a new spectacle to the holiday. Norman Rockwell's iconic painting, Freedom from Want, published in 1943, cemented an idealized image of the Thanksgiving gathering in the American imagination. But beneath this, Norman Rockwell exterior, a darker current was beginning to flow. The post-World War II era saw rapid changes in American society. Families became more mobile, often spread across the country. The rise of suburbia created new forms of community, but also new forms of isolation. It was in this context that the legend of the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger began to take shape. Welcome back to The Devil Within. You're listening to the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger. The first whispers of the tale emerged in the late 1950s in the cookie-cutter suburbs of Levittown, Pennsylvania. A woman named Eleanor Pritchard told her bridge club about a strange occurrence at her family's Thanksgiving dinner the previous year. A man had arrived, claiming to be her husband's cousin from Ohio. This guy knew family stories, he laughed at inside jokes, he helped carve the turkey. It was only after he left that Eleanor's husband received a call from his real cousin apologizing for not being able to make it to the dinner. The story spread like wildfire through the neighborhood. Each retelling added new details, new layers of menace. By the time it reached the ears of young Tommy Schultz, delivering newspapers on his morning route, the stranger had become a shadowy figure with sinister intentions. Tommy's imagination was captured. He shared the story with his friends at school, who in turn told their families. Within a year, variations of the tale were circulating in suburbs across the Northeast. As the 1960s dawned, bringing with them social upheaval and a questioning of traditional values, the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger legend found fertile ground. It spoke to a growing unease about the changing nature of American society. Who were these strangers in our midst? Could we trust our own perceptions? The legend took on new life in the counterculture movement. At a commune in Northern California, a young woman named Sunshine told a version of the story where the doppelganger was a government agent sent to infiltrate and disrupt alternative communities. This paranoid strain on the legend would persist for decades. Meanwhile, in the halls of academia, folklorists began to take notice of the spreading tale. Dr. Alan Dundas of the University of California, Berkeley, was one of the first to study the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger legend in depth. In his 1973 paper, The Stranger at the Table, a study in American folklore and psyche, Dundas argued that the legend reflected deep-seated anxieties about identity and belonging in modern America. As the legend spread, it began to influence popular culture. In 1975, an episode of the short-lived television series Kolchak, The Night Stalker, featured a Thanksgiving-themed story clearly inspired by the Doppelganger legend. The following year, the film Alice, Sweet Alice incorporated elements of the tale into its plot. The 1980s saw a resurgence of interest in the legend, fueled in part by the growing stranger danger movement. Parents, already anxious about the safety of their children, found in the Thanksgiving Doppelganger a new source of fear. School assemblies and community meetings often included warnings about strangers at holiday gatherings. It was during this time that the legend began to take on more supernatural elements. A version popular among teenagers at summer camps told of a doppelganger who was revealed to be a ghost or a demon. In this telling, the creature would often vanish at the moment of revelation, leaving behind only a cold spot at the dinner table. The dawn of the internet age in the 90s gave the Thanksgiving Doppelganger legend millions of new avenues to spread. Online forums and early social media platforms became hotbeds for sharing and discussing variations of the tale. The anonymity of the internet allowed for even more outlandish versions to proliferate. One particularly viral version, which first appeared online in 1998, told of a family in Maine who discovered that their Thanksgiving guest was not only an imposter, but an escaped convict who'd been hiding in their attic for weeks. This version, despite being thoroughly debunked, continues to circulate to this day.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting. Go to your happy place for a happy price with Priceline's Black Friday sale. Save now and travel later with our best deals of the year.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Ah yes, the magnificent Trolley Sourbright Crawler, also known as Trollicus brightolus. The worm's captivating neon colour makes it an easy gummy prey.
Trolley!
It's a surprisingly sour, invitingly chewy, staggeringly snackable species unlike anything else found on this planet.
Eat me!
Delicious. Visit Trolley.com to shop now.
Trolley, eat me!
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, FDA approved for over 20 years. So, talk to your specialist to see if Botox Cosmetic is right for you.
For full prescribing information, including boxed warning, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
Remember to ask for Botox Cosmetic by name. To see for yourself and learn more, visit BotoxCosmetic.com. That's BotoxCosmetic.com.
As the new millennium approached, the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger legend began to reflect growing concerns about identity theft and online privacy. In these versions, the imposter would use information gleaned from social media to convincingly impersonate a family member. The events of September 11th, 2001, and the subsequent War on Terror added even newer layers of meaning to the legend. In some tellings, the doppelganger became a sleeper agent or terrorist, using the cover of a family gathering to carry out nefarious plans. These versions often included pointed commentary on racial profiling and the climate of fear that permeated American society in the early 2000s. The legend has continued to evolve in the digital age. With the rise of deepfake technology, some versions now include digitally altered family photos or video calls as part of the imposter's deception. These high-tech variations speak to ongoing anxieties about the nature of truth and reality in the information age. Despite its dark themes, the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger legend has also inspired moments of levity and creativity. College students have been known to play pranks inspired by the legend, showing up at friends' family gatherings pretending to be long-lost relatives. Some families have turned the legend into a game, with a designated family member playing the role of the imposter each year. In recent years, the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger has become a staple of the horror genre. The 2016 indie film The Strangers, Thanksgiving, drew heavily on the legend, as did the popular podcast Welcome to Night Vale and its 2018 Thanksgiving special. Sociologists and psychologists continue to study the legend, seeing in it a reflection of America's changing social landscape. Dr. Maria Hernandez of the University of Texas has argued that the persistence of the legend speaks to the enduring importance of Thanksgiving as a touchstone of American identity. Even as families become more dispersed and traditional structures break down, she writes, the idea of Thanksgiving as a time of coming together remains powerful. The Doppelgänger legend plays on our fears of this ideal being disrupted or corrupted. Indeed, the power of the Thanksgiving Doppelgänger legend lies in its ability to adapt to changing times while tapping into timeless human fears. It speaks to our anxieties about trust, identity, and the sanctity of our most cherished traditions. In a world of increasing complexity and uncertainty, the legend offers a narrative framework for exploring these fears in a controlled setting. As we gather around our Thanksgiving tables each year, surrounded by family both familiar and distant, the echo of the Doppelgänger legend lingers in the back of our minds. We may chuckle at it, dismiss it as an old wives' tale, but somewhere, in the deepest recesses of our psyche, a small voice whispers, "What if?" And so the legend persists, passed down from generation to generation, a dark thread in the rich tapestry of American folklore. It reminds us that even in our moments of greatest joy and unity, the unknown lurks just beyond the circle of light cast by the family fire. The Thanksgiving Doppelgänger is more than just a spooky story. It's a mirror held up to the American soul, reflecting our deepest fears and our most cherished values. As we look to the future, we can only imagine how this legend will continue to evolve. Perhaps in the age of artificial intelligence and virtual reality, the doppelganger will take on new, even more unsettling forms. Or maybe, as our understanding of identity and family continues to expand and change, the legend will lose its power to frighten. Whatever its future, the Thanksgiving doppelganger legend has earned its place in the pantheon of American mythology. It stands alongside Paul Bunyan, the Headless Horseman, and the hook-handed killer as a uniquely American creation, born from the hopes, fears, and experiences of a nation in constant flux. So this Thanksgiving, as you pass the turkey and give thanks for your blessings, take a moment and look around the table. Are you sure you know everyone there? After all, in the great American tradition of the Thanksgiving doppelganger, appearances can be deceiving. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for listening. I'd really appreciate you going to Apple Podcasts and giving me a review and rating the show, and consider sharing with your friends if you think they might enjoy it. And make sure you're following the show wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. You could also check out our socials at The Devil Within Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and remember, full episodes are also available on YouTube if you're more of a YouTube person. Until next time, stay safe out there. The Devil Within is an EVO production, recorded live at Bel Air Studios in Los Angeles, California. Written and produced by Brandon Morgan, executive produced by Danny Abelson. For The Devil Within, I'm your host, Brandon Morgan.